Good afternoon, everybody. It is 1 o'clock, and this is another Spark crowdfunding webinar introducing you to two very exciting new businesses that we have on our platform. We are joined by Matt McCann from Access Earth, and we are joined by Ross Byrne from Starfolio. Ross, if you just want to quickly say hello. So we've had a very busy year this year, and which we are very proud about. Spark has really kind of had many more companies on the platform this year than we've had previously, but we expect many more to come on over the next 12 months as well. We're going to have a very busy first quarter. We've got some really nice businesses coming through in the pipeline, but today is all about Access Earth and all about Starfolio. So I will introduce you to them in a second. Again, with regards to our pipeline, many of them, or most of them in fact, are EIS companies, as the two are today, where you will get 40% rebate on your investment as well through from the government, which makes it very much more attractive for you. But anyway, without further ado, I'll get into introducing you to Matt. So Ross, will see you in about half an hour, so stand by and we'll see you shortly. But this is Matt McCann from Access Earth. Matt lives his life with cerebral palsy and has used his personal lived experience to create a high potential global business in the process. So Access Earth has a mission to build the world's largest database of accessibility information. In Europe alone, there are 135 million people with a disability, and research shows that access to venues in this is the single most important factor for a disabled person considers before going out or booking a trip. Matt has an MSc in software engineering from Maynooth University, and along with his team has developed a proprietary software that is able to map venues around the globe. Access Earth has uniquely but rapidly built up this digital database over 110,000 venues. As confirmation of its SaaS business model, Access Earth has already secured non-dilutive grant aid funding from the prestigious Horizon 2020 program and Enterprise Ireland. Additional funding from the European Space Agency has enabled it to map accessible car park spacing in cities using satellite imagery and drones. Access Earth has a pipeline of potential grant funding of €1 million over the next 24 months as well. Access Earth will generate 80,000 of revenue this year and is projecting 1.2 million after just 2 years. This will generate a net profit of €860,000. The company has been presented with the Innovative Practice Award at the United Nations Zero Project. And Access Earth is ensuring that accessibility for information is accessible to everybody. The global mindset has never before been more focused on creating a more universally accessible and equality-focused society. Access Earth has the ability, technology, and data to bring this ambition into reality. The pre-money valuation for the business is 1.2 million, which we think is very reasonable price point at this particular point in the business's life. And of course, with EIS and a 40% reduction, you're buying shares at an effective valuation of 720,000, which makes it very good value. So Matt, without further ado, I'll hand it over to you. So if you'd like to share your screen, you can start your presentation. If anybody has any question, please don't put it into the chat. Please put it into the Q&A, which you'll see at the bottom of the screen. And Fergal and I will ask those questions in 15 minutes time to Matt, and he'll hopefully respond to each of those as well. We'll almost certainly have more questions than we have actual time to answer, but we'll answer those offline afterwards and publish those, so you should get your question answered anyway. But anyway, Matt, over to you.
Great. Thanks very much for the fantastic introduction, Chris. And I hope you can all see me, hear me, and see my screen okay.
Yep, looks good, Matt. Away you go.
Perfect. So, as Chris said, I'm the founder and CEO of Access Earth. I just want to start by giving you a bit of background as to why we started the company and as to what vertical we're currently focusing our target markets in. So, imagine that you're waiting to get outside a stadium to get into your team's next big game. And you're told minutes before kickoff that you have to go to an entrance at the other side of the stadium. And then when you get into the stadium, you're told that you can't sit with your friends and family. because there are no seats suitable for your needs. And then you have to sit at a match surrounded by strangers. This is a reality not just for me, but for so many fans around the world. And as Chris said, I live my life with cerebral palsy, so I found that there is a lack of accessibility information. And so at Access Earth, we're building the world's largest database of accessibility information and are focusing on making the fan experience within stadiums as accessible as possible for everyone. So combined with the pandemic, there's been a historical low in fan engagement. And with the low gate receipts, it's led clubs to needing to diversify their approach to be able to get new fans inside the stadium. Less than half of fans who go to stadiums week in, week out feel that a stadium is easy to navigate. There's a lack of inclusion and accessibility in and around that stadium experience that severely impacts on the social engagement of fans at the venue. Fan engagement is central to driving revenue to clubs. In the US alone, it's worth $50 billion annually to clubs. And so it's a key part of their revenue stream that they're needing to retarget. Our solution helps to re-engage fans by, from the moment they purchase a ticket, they're given a customized itinerary directly to their mobile device. This doesn't just tell them where to park, but also where to stay around the stadium, where to go to eat, where to experience other things in and around the city. It essentially gives them a digital twin of the venue with an easy to understand digital map that gives them everything of what lift to take in order to get to their seats. This also allows them to flag issues that would arise during their stay at the stadium directly to the club. The club essentially have a facilities management dashboard that allows them to flag things like, is the lift out of order? Or is the bathroom out of order? Or simple things like, is a hand sanitizer empty? Because stadium safety and fan confidence is key to driving this fan engagement piece moving forward. The market opportunity within the global sports space this year is estimated at about 15 billion euro. Rising to a total addressable market in 2026 of over 58 billion euro. But if we look at the SAM for the next, just in the US and Europe alone, with stadium capacities over 30,000, that's at 5 billion euro. And then if we just take the top 5 football leagues in Europe, that gives us an obtainable market over the next 4 years of 210 million. Our solution will be able to address the needs of this market by increasing fan and consumer confidence by providing those customized itineraries for every fan. It simplifies navigation around the stadium by creating an intuitive digital map that leads you right to your seat. And clubs get insights and data on how fans are using the facilities in order to better improve that experience moving forward. The competitive landscape is mostly focused in on either the digital twin space or in the routing space. Very few of them are actually looking at the holistically fans as a whole and giving customized routing based on a fan's particular accessibility needs. That's not just people with accessibility needs like a wheelchair user, it's also parents with prams, or it's older people or the temporarily injured. And this means that that customized fan itinerary piece is a real USP for our platform, as it really gives the accessibility insights that a club has been lacking until now. In terms of our traction and validation, as Chris rightly mentioned, we were awarded a Horizon 2020 grant in 2019 as part of a consortium, pan-European consortium, which is worth 250,000 euro over the next 3 years. And last year, we became members of the prestigious European Space Agency Business Incubation Center. That allowed us to develop our AI and parking solutions to enable us to fully release a commercialized version of this product this year. And as such, we've opened a seed round in order to be able to commercialize fully over the next 2 years, with a complete seat-to-seat solution and 19 stadium deployments in 2022, following 55 stadiums in 2023, where we will do a post-seed funding round. A pricing model for the stadium is quite simple. It's first, there's a setup cost or deployment cost based on the size of the stadium in square meters. They use this to integrate the digital map and generate the itinerary for fans, and also integrate into the mobile app or the website of the particular club. The clubs then pay a license fee to get access to that facilities management and fan experience dashboard, which is based on a yearly license that is usually priced on a per seat model in the stadium itself. We currently have and are about to sign a proof of concept deal with a large sporting body in Asia. We hope to sign this next month in January. That has the potential to scale out to 23 stadiums over the next 12 to 18 months. So to give you an idea of the scale of that opportunity, in setup costs alone, that's about 350,000 euro worth of revenue to the company, not taking into account potential licensing fees. In terms of our sales strategy, it's been key over the last years to build out key partners to access this sports space. CAFE, or the Centre for Access to Football in Europe, is UEFA's accessibility arm, and we have a great relationship with them that enables us to get introductions to any football club across the UK and Europe. GSIC, or the Global Sports Innovation Centre, has allowed us to scale out globally to large multi-venue events like the Paralympics or like the Olympics itself. And of course, within the smart city space, you may wonder what's that got to do with sports and tech? Well, in, for example, Italy and Spain alone, most, if not all, stadiums are owned by local authorities. So by targeting the sports space, you not only get access to the stadiums in those countries and cities, but you then have the opportunity to sell accessibility data of the built environment directly to the cities themselves, which opens up further revenue streams down the line. The team itself, we're 5 full-time people. I, as Chris said, have a master's in software engineering and over 10 years experience in building scalable software platforms. I have a lifelong experience in the accessibility space, and I've built key customer relationships with clubs and key organizations over the last 6 years. Donal is my Chief Operating Officer, and he's a former senior BDO consultant and is currently acting as a Chief Commercial Officer for Access Earth with experience in building and sustaining customer relationships with large corporations. Rob Nolan is our CTO. He has over 8 years experience in AI and machine learning, as well as how to build out scalable cloud architecture, and is key to helping this platform be as scalable as it needs to be. Amy is our projects officer and has years of experience in managing large projects in both the health and legal sectors. In terms of our financials, in 2020, we turned over 50,000 euro in revenue. And this year we're projecting 80,000 euro by the end of the year. And as I said previously, our potential proof of concept in January has alone over the next 18 months contributing to 335,000 euro in revenue, scaling out to 1.1 million in 2023 and 4.2 million in 2024 with 133 potential customers. And that scales out to 22 employees as well. In terms of our use of funds, we're looking to close a 250,000 euro round in 2022, with Spark being a key component of this. As Chris said, we're EIS compliant, such that only 1,000 euro investment will get you 600 euros or 400 euro back in a tax rebate, as well as being a HBSU client of Enterprise Ireland. Enterprise Ireland have already invested with the Competitive Start Fund, and as such have afforded us the opportunity through our development advisor to have the potential to match any money that we raise through Spark to the tune of 150,000 euro. These funds will be used for key product development features that allow for scalable, localized deployment all around the world. And over the next 18 months will allow us to corner that sports tech accessibility market so that we can look to really enable everyone to access Earth. Thank you very much, and I look forward to any questions.
Matt, thank you very much indeed. That was excellent, and it's probably a good idea. Thanks very much for unsharing your screen. So yeah, good number of questions already coming in. So just to remind people, please do add them to the Q&A box at the bottom there, please, and feel free to ask Matt whatever you like. But first question in. How diversified is your revenue model? Are you reliant on 1 or 2 big clients, or is it spread across many?
So our revenue model is very much based on a stadium by stadium rollout initially. So there's that setup cost, and then there's the dashboard licensing. So really you're looking at say an average customer value of about 30,000 euro in setup. with about €10,000 per year. So really we're scalable out in terms of the more stadiums we can apply, the better. We also have further revenue streams, such as Verified by Access Earth, which ties to our fan itinerary piece, where we can get subscription from local businesses to promote themselves within that sports offering as well.
Very good, very good. Fergal, I think you've got the next one, have you?
Yeah, I have one here. How do you crowdsource the people who publish the content, Matt?
So in terms of the information for the stadium itself, we work with the stadium to provide that digital twin and digital map. And then where certain assets are within the stadium, like lifts and hand sanitizer stations, the fans attending that will then be able to update the status of those. So if the lift is out of order, they can flag that with the club, likewise with a hand sanitizer. But in terms of the information around the stadium, that's based on the communities that we've been able to build up over the years in particular cities through our support organizations, whether it be the likes of the IWA and Enable Ireland in Ireland or in Philadelphia. So we'll be really building out a community in that city in order to enable everyone to map it as well.
Brilliant.
Very good. Talk about the platform. How scalable is it? How scalable is your platform?
So we've built out, we're on Azure. We've built out from the ground up to be scalable on the cloud architecture from the get-go. And as such, we have 110,000 locations already within the system and are built to be, we're built to scale. And we've direct support from Microsoft as well throughout this to enable that we've built this in the best way possible. Very
good. And you actually got you were rewarded by something from Microsoft, I think, at some stage, weren't you, Matt?
Yes, so we won the Imagine Cup. This was back when I was in college, and sort of was the spark, if you exclude the pun, to start the business. It was about technology that can change the world. So we were given 3 years worth of tech support from Microsoft, as well as a small sum of money to start incorporating the business.
Very good. Very good.
Excellent. That leads us on nicely to another question we've here. What strategy are you using to internationalize the business, Matt?
So as I said, our key channel partners in the Global Sports Innovation Center and in CAFE give us access to clubs all across Europe and beyond. We're also leveraging the H2020 partnership, where we're part of 17 different countries. So we have access to be able to localize across 17 countries across Europe pretty much immediately. So that, yeah, it's we're born global. That's why we're called Access Earth.
Who would be most likely to buy you out in the timescale that you've kind of got? Who's going to be the suitor that will come along and give a return for our investors, Matt?
So you're looking at large data providers, so the likes of say Microsoft or Google, to name one. But you're also looking at things providers who look at accessibility data as a whole within a city. So the likes of say TripAdvisor or Airbnb, who've already made acquisitions within the accessibility space.
Very good.
Excellent. And what risks does an investor face, coming in at this stage, of the business, Matt? What are the potential limitations, or what's the upside and downside, I suppose?
I suppose as with the SaaS model, you've got to look at the founding team, you've got to look at the product that's being built. But we've been able to mitigate this by building out with world-class support from the likes of Microsoft and from Google Adopt a Startup to show that we have a scalable platform. But also the key partners that we've built up in CAFE and GSIC allows us to get access to our customers directly. We have key internal champions within the sports space, so we wouldn't have the initial struggle of getting that initial interest from the customer base. So we've been able to mitigate those large risks. As such, we're now looking to just close that first deployment within the stadium.
Are you the only company doing this, or do you have any competitors? You flashed up a couple of slides there. I think a slide there with a couple, but perhaps you can just talk about those in a bit more detail, please, Matt.
Yeah. So there are a couple of customers within or competitors within the digital venue twin space, such as say Venue Next, who are looking at providing a like-for-like model of a stadium. That's more from just a club perspective around planning events. It's not really from a fan engagement side. It doesn't provide that sort of level of customized itinerary space. So really, you've got one side, you've got the facilities management, and one side, you've got the fan engagement. And we sort of help to bridge that gap. So any competitors who are in that space, we look to collaborate with potentially and use our information to augment their offerings too.
Great.
Excellent. Good question here. Now, if you hit your revenue targets, what do you think the company will be worth after 3 years? The magic question.
So by 2024, we're projecting at about a 4.2 million revenue. So as we're a SaaS model company, most SaaS goes on a 12x basis. So even looking at a 10x on ARR, we're looking at a 40 million euro valuation in 3 years.
Excellent.
Impressive. Is the technology complete, or is there much more that you need to invest to actually build that up to completion?
So being a SaaS company, the product is you can never say it's complete. It's constantly being augmented with feedback from customers and constantly evolving. But in terms of the core product and the core proof we need, that's built out to deploy within the next quarter. What we need to do now with this investment is to be able to localize that in the different languages that we need to do.
Very good.
Excellent. Have we time for more questions, Chris? There's one here. Yeah.
More. Yeah, absolutely.
What process do you have to go through to secure such a large amount of non-dilutive grants, and how painful is it, I suppose, Matt? What's the timeline?
Well, we've had the opportunity to be part of that H2020 experience, as well as getting grant funding from the European Space Agency. But the great thing is, having already got that foothold in the grant space and having that history, it immediately makes it easier for further applications of grants. In fact, we've got interest from the European Space Agency to develop a smart cities transport solution in the next year that could be worth about 110,000 euro in non-dilutive grants. Then that opens us up to the likes of disruptive tech innovation, which could be upwards of 1 million. So really, it's getting that first foot in the door, and we already have that. We're already in the door, and we're already sitting down and helping ourselves to tea.
Very good, very good. What is your strategy to onboard end users and grow your brand awareness in the market? Could you perhaps elaborate on that a little, please, Matt?
Perfect. So our end user base, well, we're looking at leveraging the fans as well and disabled supporters associations, and just really pushing in on that piece as well, so that our customers essentially then help us to get out to our end users. And as well as that, a portion of this fund will be going into our marketing and awareness piece too, in order to let people know that we were available and to help push that. In fact, last month, we launched a Access Earth Challenge, focusing in on different cities in and around the world. And that's given us a 250% boost in our users and app downloads over the last month alone. So really, there is an appetite for this in
Very
the
Very good. Okay, one last question. How did the Asian proof of concept come about? Can you perhaps talk to us about that?
Yeah, so that came about directly through our work with the Global Sports Innovation Center. So just back in May, we were given an award by them in the Football Can 2041 competition, where we came top 10 in that. And they approached us as part of a interest coming in from this footballing body that they're connected to. And so and there was a need for the accessibility and fan engagement piece that we were providing. So we were a great fit.
Very good. As usual, Matt, we've got loads more other questions that we just won't have time to go through, but as I say, we'll answer those offline and send them back to all of the registrants on the platform. So Matt, for now, thank you very much indeed. That was very good indeed. So Ross, perhaps I could ask you to switch on your camera if you are there. Hopefully you are. You haven't gone anywhere somewhere. That'd be good. Okay, so this is Ross Byrne. Ross Byrne is, as many of you will know, a professional rugby player and founder of Starfolio. He won his first cap for Leinster in 2015. He won his first cap for Ireland in 2018. And Ross graduated from UCD with an honours degree in 2018, having read economics and politics. In the last 18 months, he's worked with the highly regarded Mosaic team to develop Starfolio. Ross identified a new market opportunity with global potential. This new venture aims to become the go-to site for brands and stars to collaborate and use each other to promote goods and services and to boost their earnings. They've developed a proprietary, fully interactive platform, which is now ready for launch next month in January. Ahead of the launch, Ross and his team has already signed up over 200 sports stars, celebrities, and influencers on the site, with almost zero promotion. So with the funds that he's currently raising, this number will be aggressively increased. Starfolio is projecting revenues of 2.3 million after 3 years and a net profit of 770,000. With their unique offering, they're well placed to corner this large market. Pre-money valuation is 1.5 million euros. And of course, with EIS, which Ross and Starfolio qualified as, you're actually buying shares at a valuation of 900,000. So very, very good proposition. So Ross, you're very welcome. And perhaps you can share your screen.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris, for that introduction. That's great.
Not at all. So away you go, and we'll see you in a few minutes for the Q&A. So again, everybody, questions and answers, please, into the Q&A box down below, and we'll fire those questions to Ross when he's finished his presentation. See you in a minute.
Yeah, so Starfolio is it's an online platform that allows brands and fans to connect to their favorite stars. So obviously, as being a professional player myself, it's something I probably found a little bit over the last couple of years, and kind of when I first started out, in terms of you kind of have people reaching out to you every now and then, or you might get a friend or your uncle's friend kind of getting onto you to do a bit of a kicking session, or can you come down and do a session with the kids and stuff like that, or even any sort of commercial work. I kind of found I wasn't really getting reached out for too much. So I suppose that's kind of how the idea was born, in terms of allowing stars put themselves out there a little bit more and putting themselves a bit more in the shop window. So brands and fans can reach out to them and try and connect with them. And I suppose the whole idea of the platform is that it's very easy to use on both ends, from a star perspective and from a brand or a fan perspective. So in terms of where we are now, so obviously, as I've said there, it's a marketplace platform, and the whole idea is connecting stars with brands and fans, and that's the idea behind it, is to help brands grow their products and their service, which is massive now, in terms of obviously brands want to generate more exposure in the world now, especially with how big social media has gone. And I suppose it's just continuously growing. Our mission is to become a global operator within the next 5 years, where there's thousands of influencers, I suppose, that we're hoping that can engage through Starfolio with different brands. And I suppose we have all of the technology we have built. It's all built in-house by Mosaic, which is huge. And we have really good connections, not just here in Ireland, but in the UK. And obviously, we actually have made some already further afield in the US, which is ultimately where we want to get to. In terms of the service itself, so Starfolio, it offers stars, I suppose, a new channel for them to monetize their brand value. And it allows brands, I suppose, an easy access to stars, whereas previously brands wouldn't necessarily have access to a big range of stars. They might have certain stars that they've used for different activations, whereas this allows them a huge pool of talent to pick from, whether that can be sports, music, acting, it can be in the digital creator world, it can be Michelin star chefs, whatever you want. So it's very easy, I suppose, in terms of the access that it gives to brands. And it's very simple from a star perspective. All they do is they build their own profile. They select what services that they would be willing to provide. So for myself, if I built my profile, I'd be willing to engage in any social media activation, if it's TV work, radio work, photo calls, or if it's just a simple case of I just want to do video messages. It's very easy to use on, off. There's no contracts or anything like that. The whole idea is basically to make it more time and cost efficient. In terms of agencies, we're absolutely not an agency. So we don't want to be stepping on any agency's toes or anything like that. We want to actually work with them. And if we want to basically just speed up their deal flow. So if an agency is representing a number of clients and they have multiple deals ongoing, that's incredible. We don't want to hinder that at all. All we want to do is hopefully bring them more deals, or hopefully we can make their stars look into different industries they wouldn't have been previously in. So I suppose Starfolio allows the stars to do that, or it also allows the agents to manage all of their stars through the platform. In terms of the actual technology itself, so we have a number of marketing tools which allows stars to geo-target certain areas. So a good example would be if you have a rugby player who's moving country, they're moving club, and they want to geo-target their country, which they will be moving to in the future with different ads or what they want to be promoting. So it's very unique and there's very little out there like it. Google Analytics is the most similar to it, but this is I suppose it's cutting edge really in terms of our technology, and something which we're very fortunate to have. And I suppose that's where Mosaic come in, that they're brilliant in this aspect and they're constantly coming up with new ideas. In terms of Starfolio, it also allows stars in terms of a sponsorship to think outside the box a little bit. So sponsorship traditionally is always probably brands coming up with the ideas, whereas this Starfolio allows the stars to come up with the ideas. So a great example was speaking to a number of the cricketers on the Irish cricket team. It's very unknown that the back of a cricket bat can be a totally separate sponsor to what the team sponsor is, which is very unique. And a lot of brands aren't aware of this, where jockeys is another great example. Where there can be different sponsors all around that are not exactly associated to that particular horse or to that person. So we're really allowing stars to think outside the box here, or particularly in the social media world, how big it is now, and it's constantly growing. So we really want to make that, I suppose, as visible as possible to brands to hope to get them to engage with the stars. In terms of the market, it's just constantly growing. As you can see here, from 2017, it's grown from 3 billion to 13 billion in 2021 in terms of the influencer market, and it's just continuing to grow. I think everyone's probably very aware in terms of how big social media is now, whether that's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. It doesn't really matter, or even e-gaming now as well. It's constantly growing, and it's not really looking like it's slowing down anytime soon, which is brilliant from our perspective. And I think it's very much just the way the world is going. So we really want to just get involved and I suppose grow with it as much as we can. In terms of where we want to go, so obviously Ireland is great for us in terms of it's a nice kind of testing bed, but really we're aiming to get into the UK as quick as possible and really get a foothold there. And we've had some really good traction there and really good conversations with different agencies and stars, which is, I suppose, very important. And we've even planted the seed a little bit in the US and Canada already. And they're very keen for it, I suppose, to get going. So I suppose we kind of have to hold back a little bit there. And we really wanted to get up and running in the UK and make it successful here before we do move further afield, just so we have everything spot on. In terms of the team who's co-founded it, so myself, obviously, as Chris said, I went to UCD, did a degree in economics and politics, and obviously I've been playing professional rugby for the last 7 years now. So I suppose I have a very good understanding how things would work from the stars' perspective, and how different deals would work, or the frustrations of, I suppose, we might feel in terms of the star side of things and not getting deals or deals going wrong or anything like that. So I suppose that's a big advantage that I bring to the team. Michael obviously has the, I suppose, the unfortunate tag of being my older brother maybe, but he's also the interim manager at the moment of Starfolio, and he's the head of business development at Mosaic, which obviously is the multi-award-winning app and web development agency in Dublin and London. But Michael's also worked on a number of sponsorship deals over the years with Leinster, the FAI and the GAA. So he's a very good handle from the business side of things, but also on brands as well, exactly what they're looking for and how they're, I suppose, willing to work. And I suppose not just how they're willing to work now, but how they're willing to work in the future. And then obviously Mark is the third co-founder and is also the founder of Mosaic. And I suppose Mark's experience is phenomenal, not just his tech background, but also his actual entrepreneurial skills as well. And he's had several exits already. And he's amazing, I suppose, the experience that he brings to us. So in terms of, I could say, the team, we've a good diverse of talent ourselves, I suppose. So we all bring something different, which is great, and we all see things slightly differently. So we're moving in the right direction anyway on that front. In terms of the actual traction we've had so far, so we actually haven't. We've signed up over 200 stars, and that's all through word of mouth, or else us just reaching out to people. Obviously, you can see some of the stars below that we have on the platform already. So any Mayo fans out there, Killian O'Connor, Ashley Keogh, a digital creator, obviously Jason O'Mara, actor, Luke McGrath, Mike Tweedy and Megan Campbell. So I suppose you can see there even just the range of stars that we have on the platform. We haven't actually done any public marketing or anything like that. So all of that, so all of the over 200 stars so far have all just been through us reaching out. So I suppose that's why we're here today, in terms of the growth that we could get would be incredible if we do get the investment. In terms of the platform being fully live, so it's not actually live yet in terms of brands being able to book stars or fans being able to book stars, but it is live in terms of stars being able to build their profile and get it up and ready. So then when we do actually activate the platform, all the stars will be up there ready to go, and the brands also have to do, brands or fans, just book who they want and for what service they're looking for. In terms of our financial forecast, obviously the first, you can see there in year 3 and year 4 is really where our revenue really starts to shoot up, and that's where we're really looking for big growth, particularly with, I suppose, how we've looked at the market and in which direction it's going. And then even in year 5, we're looking at a revenue of around 27 million, which is obviously great and exactly where we want to go. But so at the moment, we're definitely on track for that in terms of our products and roadmap. The user number forecast is obviously huge for us as well. As I said, at the moment, we've over 200 stars signed up, and that's without any investment so far. And where we're ultimately looking to go, as I mentioned earlier, is up in year 5, 30,000 and surpass that, to be honest, as the way the world is going. And I suppose digital creators and sports stars and actors are constantly just doing more and more social media work, but also constantly looking to engage with different brands. And I suppose startups now are always looking for not just the local GA player, but it could be a makeup artist who has a massive following on Instagram, or it could be a FIFA player who has an enormous e-gaming follower. It's anything like that we're reaching out to, and we want stars to sign up to Starfolio. We're really not boxing ourselves in terms of it's just a sports platform or an Instagram platform. We're making sure it's as diverse as possible, which allows the brands to, I suppose, have such a big talent pool to select from. In terms of the investment, so we're looking to raise 300,000. We have a pre-money valuation of 1.5 million. At the moment, Starfolio has absolutely no debt, and it's obviously an EIS qualifying company, which Chris mentioned earlier, which is obviously massively important, because any of the investments that you do make, obviously 40% of that risk is taken away straight away, which is vital. So I suppose why invest in Starfolio? I suppose as I've touched on earlier, in terms of the technology, it's absolutely incredible, and I suppose we're continually growing in terms of where we want to get to, and we have a number of ideas that we're almost holding back because we just see this platform just taking off, and we've so many different angles that we can go down. The market size itself is just getting bigger and bigger, and it's something that we really want to tap into fast. And I suppose even the brief or little success that we've had in signing up over 200 stars to the platform, and that's, I suppose, ahead of any actual campaigning or, I suppose, public marketing or anything like that. It's very much just us reaching out to people, and even at that, we've probably been quite select in who we've been reaching out to, as we do want to make it, as I've mentioned a number of times, a very diverse platform. So I suppose the next steps for us as Starfolio is we're live on the crowdfunding platform now, And obviously, if anyone wants to meet for any further questions with any of the other founders as well, to talk more about the actual technology, as you're probably aware, that's not my background. So I'm sure Mark and Michael would be delighted to sit down with anyone if they want to have a full, I suppose, run through of how the actual technology works and everything from that perspective.
Very
Thanks
good.
for listening.
No worries. Thank you very much indeed, Ross. That was excellent. Perhaps you can stop sharing your screen. There we go. We're back into full size mode. Loads of questions, as you can expect. So let's get stuck in. So first one, how much have you spent on marketing to date, or how did you get the 200 stars to sign up onto the platform?
So we actually haven't spent anything to date on marketing. So all of the stars that we have signed up so far has been us reaching out to people, or people different stars have heard about it from us.
Very good.
Excellent. And can you tell us what makes the software so attractive to the stars and the companies, and kind of what special features do you have, Ross, that makes it so attractive?
The biggest thing is that the platform is built by stars for stars. So I suppose whenever we've done any of the testing, we've made sure I can use it, because I can barely use a laptop. So it's very important that if I can use it, then anyone can use it. So it's incredibly easy to use from a star's perspective, but also a brand perspective. And in terms of a star signing up, it's very basic and simple. There's no contract or anything like that. And they can turn it on and off as they wish. If they're going on holidays for 3 weeks and they don't want to be getting different notifications, it's just a case of they just deactivate their profile, or they turn off certain services. So it's very simple to use. And in terms of little features, we've a lot of, I suppose, little features that we're very keen to add in different versions. But at the moment, we're just very excited to get it up and running, and I suppose get stars actually getting traction through it.
Good stuff. Question here from somebody who wants to know, about the career path for you. How are you going to combine the running the startup and a career as a professional rugby player?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm down as CEO at the moment, but when we're up and running, that's not going to be the case, because I don't think Leinster would be too happy if I was dipping out for half the day to go to a few meetings. But we actually have our CEO lined up at the moment, so we're just finalizing a few things. And then once that person is in place, we're going to be giving them, I suppose, the license to build out their team, I suppose, in what areas they see fit, which obviously we'll be overseeing. And so for myself, I suppose it's good, because I suppose I have the experience of everything I've dealt with, obviously Harry, my brother, as well. So it's great, just I suppose from the day-to-day dealings of it. I suppose I can give the star perspective.
Great.
Good. I think this was, you did answer this, I think, but how much debt is the business carrying at the moment, Ross? I don't think you have any at the moment. Could you just clarify that?
There's currently no debt in the company at all. No.
Excellent.
Next question is, if you achieve your financial projections over the next 3 years, what do you think the valuation of the company will be at that time, and how does that compare to the valuation today?
Yeah, so obviously at the moment we're valued at 1.5 million, and with all of our forecasting after 3 years, we see the company being valued at around 15 million. Good.
Thank you.
Excellent. And another same question from Rob here again, same as the one from Matt. What for investors coming in today, what are the risks that they face, Ross?
I suppose a big mitigating factor is that we're EIS qualified. So obviously any of the investment is 40%, obviously is back in a tax refund, which is massive. In terms of the other risk, I suppose for us, we see the market, it's so big, and we actually haven't seen anything else out there that is exactly like this. And I suppose we've been working on this for the last 18 months, a lot of ups and downs, as you can imagine. But if we don't do it, someone else is going to do it, is the way that I would look at it. Because the way the world is going, it's just getting more and more social media, digitalized, everything. And even in terms of like COVID, if we somehow had another pandemic, this wouldn't be affected by it in terms of the services we provide. We can get stars to just do online services, no physical appearances, everything like that.
Okay. Another question here. How do you intend to internationalize the service? So how are you going to take it over to the UK and obviously ultimately to the US? What is your next market after Ireland? And what connections do you have in these markets?
Yeah, so obviously, as I said, Ireland is the market in Ireland is so small, really, and we're ready to go live here very shortly, and we want to get into the UK as quick as possible. And we've had a lot of conversations with people in the UK. We actually have some stars from the UK signed up to the platform. I suppose we've spoke to a number of PR agencies, sporting agencies, social media agents over there as well. And they're very keen to use it, particularly because of the size of the market in the UK. And I suppose they see this as it could be a 1% edge on their competitor, a different agency. And it just gives them, I suppose, the ability to create more opportunities for their clients. And then from there, once we've based a strong foothold in the UK, we're really looking to get, I suppose, across Europe, but also into the US. And we've already, as I mentioned earlier, we spoke to a couple of agents in the US, but also one in Canada as well. And so far, they haven't seen anything over there that is exactly like this. So they're very keen for it to get over there.
Very good.
Excellent. And how do you plan? There's a few questions actually just on the money, the allocation. How do you plan to spend the money that you were raising? And is there much more investment to be made into the IT or the platform, or is it kind of ready to go to market, Ross?
So in terms of the investment, a lot of it would be going towards marketing, because I suppose we see we've over 200 stars signed up, and that's without any financial investment. So I suppose in terms of if we can get the investment and put the money into marketing, we're hoping for an enormous jump in terms of the amount of stars we have signed up. In terms of hires for the business, then obviously that's very important as well. In terms of when we have our CEO in place and the hires that they want, that's obviously crucial in terms of getting the right people in place so we can grow the business out even further. And then in terms of just developing out the tech, so the tech is pretty much ready to go. It's live, as I was saying, stars can sign up now. So it's just, I suppose, the continuing growth of that.
Excellent.
There's a number of questions here about the brands. So I'll kind of merge a couple of questions together. Have you spoken to many brands about using the platform, and what type of response are you getting? And what type of, who do you think will be the typical type of brand that will use the service? Will it be large multinationals, or will it appeal to the small and medium-sized businesses?
Yeah, so we spoke to, I suppose, both. We spoke to small brands and big brands. A very good example, I suppose, we spoke to Pentland, who own Canterbury, Speedo, Mitre. And I suppose Pentland were kind of saying, in terms of Canterbury, they're saying Canterbury is a bit of a boring brand. They're going to go, your dad wears Canterbury. It's not very slick, and we're just associated with being rugby. And they were saying they've struggled to ever break into another market. And the way we were presenting it to them was, well, Starfolio allows you to do that. So all of a sudden, they're on Starfolio, they're looking to get out of the rugby market. They see a DJ has a profile on Starfolio, and on the profile, it's keen rugby fan, or it's plays tag rugby, or they have a rugby connection. So all of a sudden, Canterbury, that's their in to get into the music industry. Or it could be a boxer, or it could be something like that, that Starfolio gives Canterbury the tools to break into a different industry. So I suppose they're probably one of the best examples that we spoke to. We've also spoke to, I suppose, Paddy Power, Virgin as well. They're very keen. A lot of PR agencies as well are very keen to use it, because traditionally, I suppose, for some of the bigger brands, people are probably a bit used to, if it's for the Six Nations, let's say, if it's for Guinness, they're kind of used to seeing the same stars rolled out, whereas people probably want to see something a little bit new and different. But then also it could be for, if it's the local cafe or a pub that's opening up in Kerry, and they want the local GA star to come down and open it, or do a photo shoot or something like that. So it's very much, it's across the board. It's for multinationals, but also the smaller end of the scale as well.
Good stuff.
Very good. And just about the market size here as well, obviously we know that the growing market size, and you mentioned, influencer market has grown from 3 billion in 2017 to to, you know, up to 14 billion. Do you expect this to grow or plateau, or what do you think in terms of the view on the forward guidance in the market, Ross?
Yes, I absolutely. We think it's going to continue to grow. Not even the social media world is just exploding, really. Even I suppose a great example is to look at Premier League footballers now, who are now becoming almost more famous in the gaming world. And the amount of money they're making through e-gaming is just incredible. The sponsorship that they're doing on that front. So for us, we definitely don't think it's going to be slowing down. In terms of the numbers to project, I mean, anything is possible. It's just continuing to grow. I mean, you've got sports stars now who are almost probably more social media influencers than they are actual sports stars. But even digital content creators have millions of subscribers, and they're reaching out to them every single day. I suppose and Starfolio just allows them to, I suppose, monetize that.
Good. Okay, last question then. Talking about the exit, why do you believe another company would be interested in buying you out in, say, 5 or 7 years time?
Well, I suppose from a numbers perspective, the revenue that we're projecting in terms of 13 million after year 5 is what we're forecasting at the moment. The technology is a massive one, and obviously such an advantage that we have is that all of our technology is built in-house from Mosaic. So we don't have to keep reaching out to different people. So they're constantly coming up with new ideas, and we can continue to grow and evolve. And I suppose the database that we're building up and the collection of stars, and I suppose the collection of brands. And what we want to do is make it so easy to use for stars and brands that they won't want to go anywhere else. And that's a massive thing that we're really trying to drive. We're making it, I suppose, more time and cost efficient for everyone.
Very good. Excellent.
Great.
Excellent, Ross. Listen, thank you very much for all of that. We've got loads more questions. We could be here for another half an hour, but time is running out. So again, like I said to Matt, we'll get these questions over to you that you could respond to by writing them down, and we'll get them sent out to everybody else. So Matt, if you're still there, perhaps you want to just come on. But anyway, everybody, so both Access Earth and Starfolio are live on the platform at the moment. And taking investments. So we'd be very happy for you to place an investment in there if you think that it was something that you'd like to do. We're happy to arrange some private meetings as well if people want to actually kind of quiz either Matt or Ross in a bit more detail about certain aspects of the business, and happy to do that. So everybody, thank you very much indeed for your time, both Matt and Ross, and you, Fergal, as well, of course, for asking the questions. And for everybody else who attended today's session. So thank you very much, and we'll be in touch very soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Right. Thanks a lot, guys.